Hello, my friends. Welcome. Anna, Alchemist of the Arts here. Today, we're going to be talking about the collective energies surrounding this new moon in Sagittarius, the last new moon of 2023, which is happening on the 12th of December, which beautifully coincides with what people love to call the 12-12 portal. Now, this is the 12th day of the 12th month. And I know in spiritual circles, we love to see these dates as beautiful portals where we can open to energies for manifestation and just creating beautiful things in our own reality. Whilst I absolutely think it is so important to have these markers, I know not everybody resonates with those dates, seeing that these dates are human constructs. And again, I know I have friends in other circles that follow slightly different calendars depending on their beliefs. And again, this is absolutely okay. Now, what is really important about measuring time is that it gives us the opportunity to reflect. It gives us two landmarks with which we can reflect on the time that has passed between, whether or not you want to give it any particular dates. And this one in particular is very, very useful for taking a review over everything that's happened, maybe over the last 12 months, what has been working, what hasn't been working. And for so many of us, I know this has been a really, really challenging time. At a collective level, we have gone through immense challenges, immense personal and spiritual growth that has actually been demanded of us in order to progress, to thrive, to survive. And it's not to take away just how heavy this time could have been at different stages. Now, the last week in particular, in the time in between the full moon to now, could have been really, really intense. There's been a lot of solar energies. I know we've had solar flares, all kinds of things going on. Again, whatever you believe is absolutely okay. But at a collective level, so many of us have been experiencing real challenges. Things could have been really, really tough. And it almost felt like this last moment to review everything, to really face some of those challenges, some of those demons, and ask ourselves, okay, where do I go from here? Where on earth do I go from here? And it's really important to recognize the difference between the times where change happens to us and the times that we instigate change. Both of those will cause shift in our life, necessary shift and necessary growth. But sometimes those changes are forced upon us and then we react. Other times we grow, we have a change within ourselves, and then we cause change within our actual world and reality. I love that manifestation is kind of a blend between these two. Setting our intentions, our goals and hopes and dreams for the future it's a really powerful time that we can do that. And I think looking back at what has changed this year, what has changed for the positive, what we have had to reactively change to, what we have adapted to within our world is really, really important. And I would definitely say taking some time to journal, to reflect over some of those things that we never thought we were going to be able to change, some of the things that we never thought we'd be able to come, because I guarantee if you look back over the past 12 months, there are going to be things that you never ever thought you'd be able to do. And this needs to be celebrated. This is a really important time. Even if things have been hard, even if things still seem hard. And for many, I know this is a beautiful opening of new beginnings, but so many of us might be stood here or standing here or watching this or listening and thinking, how am I going to get up this mountain? And one of the main messages that's coming through is this is our process, this is our journey. And this time right now, it may feel like everything is too much, or the fight ahead, the journey ahead, the mountain to climb might feel like too much at times. But this is where we need to shift our energy and look back and have a point of reference over everything that we've already overcome, the steps we've already taken, the progress we've already made, and have gratitude for that, for ourselves and for also the wider world around us, the people that have helped us to change, whether those have been positive or negative experiences, ultimately, these outer changes that we have to adapt to always shift us forwards. It can take a long period of time in order for us to get to that place where we can recognize just why these changes had to occur or why we had to go through that experience. But most of all, the pattern that I'm seeing is that these challenges that we've been through most recently have been getting us to the point of reconfirming what it is that we want to do. There could have been things that really haven't been working out, things that have pushed us down a path of, finding that crossroads and being stood and thinking, okay, now which way do I go? Which way am I going to go from here? I mean, I have a choice, and it might feel like an impossible choice, but ultimately, there could have been points of reconfirmation of your personal conviction in what you're doing and walking down a path, a certain way of trying new things or trying something different and going, actually, do you know what? This is not for me at all. Or conversely, dealing with a whole load of challenges and perhaps your attention and your focus has been on other things. And all of a sudden you go to, it's actually, do you know what? I remember now. I remember how this feels. So there is a real theme at the moment with reconnecting with lost parts of self or lost energy. And this could be after a real journey. You could have gone through a sequence of events that took you from your path or took your focus and energy off certain things. And now you could find yourself reconnecting with something, and it could have been from a long time ago. The time doesn't really matter. But what matters now, because we are approaching another Mercury retrograde, these energies are going to return. This energy from the past is going to return. It could be your energy. It could be positive energy connecting to a situation. It could come up in the way of the opportunity comes up to release a past experience, which means having to look at it. But we look at it now with fresh perspective. And this, again, this comes to the importance of our focus and our attention, because where our attention goes, energy flows. I'm sure you've heard that phrase in spiritual circles so many times from different people, but it is true. And in all the business things that I watch, attention is the number one currency. You will hear that. And I think moving into next year, this is going to be a huge theme. But as a spiritual being, as a person working on their personal growth, where we're investing our attention and our energy is so valuable. So the things that we're doing right now, we could be looking and setting intentions at this manifestation portal, if you want to see it that way, or just at this time, even if it's through a traditional way of setting a New Year's resolution or just looking at the year ahead, the year past, and thinking at this moment right now, what is it that's worked? What hasn't worked? What am I taking with me? What do I need to let go of? Where am I going? And this is where we have to have faith and come back to that spiritual side of ourselves. And I'm going to put a little faith in the fact that if you've watched this far, you must definitely be interested in spiritual concepts, because otherwise I don't think you'd have watched this far, 8 minutes, nearly 9 minutes in. Having that faith in your bigger picture. We would absolutely love, I know, to be able to set an intention at new moon or in one of these manifestation portals and know that it's going to come tomorrow. Tomorrow it's going to happen, or on this day but it doesn't work like that from experience. And we co-create, from my personal belief, my personal viewpoint, we co-create with the energies around us by bringing back our attention to that bigger picture, to what it is that we want, and the life that we are building, the life that we are creating, visualizing this thing, whatever it is, whether it's a better job or more money or a relationship or a new experience. We keep visualizing that as a part of our life and allowing our attention to go there and wrestling back our attention from all of the outer distractions, which I definitely think are becoming to amplify over the months and years ahead. Okay, So with that in mind, I think another theme that I'm seeing and picking up on right now is honoring the differences in the experiences within the collective. And I know that as we grow and shift in ourselves, it can feel quite isolating if all of a sudden we feel completely out of resonance with certain people. Again, this comes back to the reconviction of our own personal path, what it is that we're doing, what we want to do, the ways in which we're moving forwards, and reaffirming to ourselves that this is right for me, this is right for my journey, it feels like the right decision to make in this moment right now, and recognizing and honoring the fact that everybody has their own journeys to live, their own lives to live. Not everybody is going to be alongside us every single step of the way. People grow together, people grow apart, and sometimes they come back together. And sometimes we have to go our separate ways for a while in order to have some necessary experiences, in order to reconnect further down the line. And that doesn't have to be just relationship based. It can happen with family, with friends, within our careers, in our own interests, within our own energy. It is so multi-layered, but honoring and respecting other people's choices and trying not to take it personally, because there is an enormous amount of pressure on all individuals right now to progress and keep going. And it's another stock phrase. It's like, just try and focus, stay in your lane, and you do you. But celebrate how far you've come, especially at this time, because this is one of the biggest themes. It feels really exciting. I feel, coming out of the week I've had personally, and I know others have been struggling, even the last few months. But for me personally, the last week has been particularly intense. And this whole year has given me an opportunity to reflect on what I'm doing. I've spent a lot of time focusing on learning new skills, new painting skills. Um, and this morning, I stood making my morning coffee, and I was just getting downloads of the different bind runes that I want to create. And again, working more in this style that's behind me here, um, getting really excited about what it is that I can work on in the future. So it's these polarized experiences. Even though the last week's been really tough, at that moment, it's like, okay, but I have a vision of what I want to do. And it's really connecting, putting my energy and attention into that. For me personally, is how I choose to progress and how I personally thrive, even through difficult experiences. And that might not be the same for everybody. And it's not to say that we should bypass our feelings spiritually, intellectually, or otherwise. I would always say, honor your experience in the present moment. When things are difficult, if things are hurtful, we really need to process those experiences as much as we can, because there's always gifts within them. And like I said, it brings me back quite nicely to this reaffirming of our path in that moment. Because when we have these changes or difficulties, or we're presented with difficult decisions, there are multiple choices. Sometimes it's just two very polarized choices, and you stand there and you think, which way am I going to go? What am I going to do? And somewhere in there, you will feel what is right. And in that moment, you've reaffirmed your own conviction, spiritually or emotionally, of which path you want to pursue. And again, sometimes that takes us down a path for a way. And we go through these cycles of learning what it is that we need to learn, or seeing what it is that we need to see to enable our growth, to work us towards that manifestation. Because my personal viewpoint is, whilst we can have instant manifestations, other things are part of a journey as we really understand who we are. Sorry if I've just knocked the microphone. We really understand who we are, what it is that we're here to do. I would love to wave a magic wand and get myself into that moment where it happens in a second. But my personal experiences, the more I've consciously focused on my own work, on what I'm building, creating, how I'm changing myself in order to grow and become the person that I want to be in the future, the world shifts around me. And the more that you see that, the more you become fluid in that experience. And it's not to say that there aren't really challenging times. Like the last week has been really personally tough for me. And it's quite easy to allow yourself to slip back into an old way of being that's really, really difficult. But there is always a lesson in there. There is always gifts through these experiences. And it's bringing that awareness into of all these different aspects and experiences that we've had, in order to keep working forwards, to honor who we are, to honor who we've been, to honor the person that we're going to become, as well as respecting all of those around us. Just keeping going. So there's two bind runes that I've created that I was personally drawn to at this time that I thought complemented the energies. The first one is this, which is to walk the winding path. And this one talks all about what I've just been talking about, the journeys on life where those outer changes cause us to go on sort of different migrations, have different experiences, we try different things, and also sometimes we trigger those changes, but ultimately everything is leading us to that point of realizing what is actually right for us, what feels right for us, and where we're going. And the second is the exploration of new pathways. And again, this one is talking about having the courage and the strength to try new things, to explore new things, and having that spiritual conviction to dream a bigger dream as well, because we can feel very limited in what might be possible for us sometimes. And actually, that brings us back to this idea of manifesting that bigger picture of what it is that we see for ourselves, what it is we want to achieve and want to do. So bringing, having that belief in something that feels bigger than us sometimes, because we're growing, we're expanding, we're always changing. So why not allow our dreams to shift to that point where the dreams are bigger, everything could actually be better than we ever imagined. And that's a possibility. So I'm also going to use the Viking Oracle deck to get some cards. This has got rune cards in it, and I thought it'd be nice to use this today instead of just using traditional runes. And let's see what comes through. Ooh, Pathro. Now, the Pathro card, the Pathro rune, speaks about gambling, taking chances, taking a risk, where we're investing that focus and energy. Now, if you look at the wider meaning of this rune as a whole, it also speaks of the cosmic void, the womb of all creation, the liminal space where everything exists in nothingness. And where our attention goes, we create, we draw from that liminal ether, and we bring into reality what we're focused on. If everything in the world is possible at one way or another, there is always a way of something happening. Okay, the human mind loves to control and to limit us because of what's already happened. But the world is ever changing. There is so much scope and potential for huge and dramatic changes, for the better, for the positive. There's no reason that that vision can't be bigger. To have the belief and be willing to put a bigger dream out there. I love that. It ties in so beautifully to the channel message. Oh, Fehu speaks of wealth, and whilst that can speak most typically of financial wealth, I like to think of it as value, and whatever we place value upon becomes wealthy or valuable to us. So this can touch on the themes of our own self-worth, and I would definitely say with the channeled message that's just come through, do you feel worthy of the life that you wish to live? Do you feel deserving of it? Do you feel like the positive experiences that you want to have are for other people? Do you feel like this is unavailable for you somehow? And it could be just in one area of your life as well. So things with work, for example, could be absolutely incredible, but maybe say it's your love life or family life that maybe you're looking to make some changes or manifestation, to manifest something else within. Or maybe it's slightly different for you. Maybe it's a complete flip of that. Maybe you're looking to spiritually grow, or just to boost your own self-worth. This one definitely touches on those themes of value and what you perceive as valuable right now. And definitely, this is a message for somebody out there. You are not valuing yourself enough. And that is something that really needs to be focused on, is boosting your own self-worth and seeing your own value. So the more we recognize the value of who we are, not because of what we can do, not because of what we've achieved, but because of who we are, just as a being, as a soul, that is a different kind of magic. That's a different kind of worth entirely. It's an unconditional worth that every single human has. And I think that's a really important message for somebody. Now, there is a card that's fallen on the floor, so I'm just going to pause the video to get it. I'm so glad that I did. The card on the floor was Cervilo. Now, this speaks of the sun. It can speak of lightning. And to me, those two energies combined create change. They can be really happy, positive changes, epiphanies, awareness, downloads, wisdom that just strike out of the blue. Definitely, definitely take note of those messages that come through to you right now, the ideas or the inspiration that flows to you, because there is so much potential in those thoughts and themes. And again, we're back to this idea of where your attention is placed. You are going to have the power to create from there. So if you have an idea that inspires you, that lights you up, place your energy into that. Think about, okay, this has come to me, so this must be possible. That in itself, as a belief, has the power to shift so much limitation within us. It's probably ourselves a lot of the time that hold ourselves back because we don't believe things are possible. But if these inspirations or these ideas are coming to you, there's a reason for it. So trust in that. I'm going to get one more because the Sevilla card was like a bonus that fell on the floor. And I love this because it feels like a real shift into positive energy. And like I said, that connection into some of these old aspects. I've just seen what's flipped over. A reconnection into some of these older aspects or parts of self that might have felt lost or dimmed or quietened over the last couple of months or years even. It's like something's reawakening, and I think we need that. And the final card that flipped was Gibu. Now, Gibu is one of my favorite runes. It's one of a lot of people's favorite runes because it's got such a beautiful meaning. It's the reciprocation of energy, the giving and receiving of gifts, whether that is energetic. It also symbolizes love and blessings, the attainment and positive manifestation of things, and a literal manifestation of something, a receiving of something. So I wouldn't be surprised if actually you receive a really beautiful gift or manifestation at this time. But also try, if possible, to see some of these challenges and experiences as gifts, especially with Cervilo. If you can see the changes, the inspiration, whatever it is that's coming through, as the potential for positive manifestation, a positive change, positive energy that you can apply into something, it's going to create a huge shift, an absolutely huge shift. And I think that's a perfect place to end this. So thank you for spending your time with me. If you've made it to the end of this, thank you so much. I really love and appreciate you for sharing your time with me. Appreciate it's nearly half an hour of your life, so I hope this brought some value to you. Please feel free to like and subscribe if it did. I am definitely going to be more committed to creating regular content on YouTube over the next year. It's going to be a big focus of mine with the different things that I do, as well as the artwork, and just mixing that all together in really beautiful ways. So I love you lots, and thank you for being here. I will speak to you really soon.